parents. If you have an adopted child, you may be wondering, is this normal? Are these behaviors right? There are so many of them. Everything is dramatic. Life is so hard. Your therapist, psychiatrist, or doctor may not have been all that helpful to you in understanding what's going on. A child who has suffered an attachment breach as a baby, or any time really, is going to experience some difficulty regulating emotions and may even have trouble in relationship with the new parent. A child who is neglected, abused, terrorized, and abandoned in early childhood, also known as adverse childhood experiences or ACEs, will likely experience many symptoms or difficulties throughout childhood. This is called complex developmental trauma. These internal and external difficulties have literally shaped the brain of your child. Some call this brain injury or damage, and without repair, these behaviors can last a lifetime. Once you understand what's going on, you can begin to work with your child to help this complex developmental trauma heal. There are many models for working with or treating children from difficult beginnings. One is Dan Hughes' dyadic developmental psychotherapy, Purvis and Cross's trust-based relational intervention, and Bruce Perry's neurosequential model of therapeutics, to name only a few. What you can know is that complex developmental trauma can be repaired, especially if you focus on the whole brain of the child and you focus from the bottom up. Mental health professionals have spent a lot of time observing attachment styles in the treatment of children with complex developmental trauma. You may be familiar with them: ambivalent, avoidant, disorganized, and of course secure. What can make an adoptive parent feel super crazy is how spiky and changeable a child's behavior is across different settings. Children living in their lower survival brains can be one way at home and another at school, and different still with Aunt Betsy or in their therapist's office. Oh, that's incredibly frustrating for everybody. While everyone has a default attachment style, traumatized children do not have just one style. They're fluid across settings, using keenly honed survival skills to adapt their styles in order to navigate perceived dangerous situations. This adaptive survival behavior may have caused some well-meaning therapists, teachers, doctors, or even extended family to conclude that you don't know how to parent. So you get sent to traditional parent training, or you're given a book of love and logic to read and implement. All the while, your child's symptoms multiply exponentially, and you yourself become more and more frustrated, dysregulated, and stressed from the secondary trauma of living with a traumatized child. A single traumatic event suffered by a child may result in post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. Children who've experienced multiple early life traumas, also known as adverse childhood experiences, will be profoundly impacted developmentally, resulting in the child having various age fluctuations. There's the actual chronological age of the child, and then there's the emotional age, which is usually about half the child's chronological age. Teachers, therapists, doctors, and parents are not always aware of complex developmental trauma and how to go about properly treating a child with it. There are 3 areas your child is likely experiencing developmental trauma symptoms. 1, in the lower brain, brainstem, governing sensory awareness and body senses. 2, in the midbrain, the limbic system, governing relationships, emotion, and behavioral regulation. And in the higher brain, the prefrontal cortex, governing executive thinking functions, the sense of self and dissociation. Each area needs to be evaluated so that whatever treatment approach you are choosing will repair in the right order and the right spots. Unfortunately, many treatments start with the higher brain through cognitive talk therapy, when really repair is done best by addressing the child's brain issues from the bottom up. The problem with our wonderful adopted children is that when they came home to us, their lower survival brain didn't turn off, so they continued to feel unsafe in our homes, where they're perfectly safe and loved, but they don't feel it. Living in survival brain, fight, flight, freeze, or befriend, has the child operating in everyday life with false alarms going off at every turn. When children are stuck in a lower brain process, they cannot learn the way non-traumatized children do, and their higher brain functions are deprived of information that furthers development. Their bodies grow, but their ability to manage everyday life continues to be a matter of survival, life and death. That makes a normally fun birthday party an overwhelming and dangerous affair to survive, rather than something to enjoy. It's no fun for anyone. So what do, right? Well, first of all, create an accepting and safe home life with routines, consistency, and patterns of regulating daily activities. Think dancing, drumming, singing, playing music. 2. Stability is paramount. Be sure you check out your own parental well-being. Get lots more respite than you think you need or can financially afford. And if you have ACEs of your own from your own childhood trauma, get some help to resolve it. Take the coherent narrative path whenever possible. 3. Get everyone on the same page across all domains. Therapists, teachers, principals, doctors, psychiatrists, childcare workers, extended family, everybody needs to be on the same page. Which means, 4, everyone needs to have a trauma-informed understanding of complex developmental trauma. What is it? What are the symptoms? What are we looking at? And then how do we repair it? 5, your child needs a daily sensory diet. It's a must for regulation because most traumatized children have injury to their lower sensory brains. Start treatment here in the brainstem. Occupational therapy, massage, and sensory activities every 2 hours would be a good start. And 6, parents must become expert therapeutic parents. Get training and ongoing support because it's hard to stay therapeutic. Sometimes it's really impossible to regulate. 7, if you can, get started on repair as soon as possible because brains start to harden up after 4 or 5 years of age and the change becomes even harder. It's not impossible. Hey, the best time to plant a 50-foot tall oak tree in your front yard is by planting it today. 8, everyone in your child's inner circle needs to be emotionally regulated, consistent, and mentally well. 9, eat whole organic foods when possible. Drink a lot of water and avoid sugar, food dyes, and too much electronic screen time to allow the whole body to have the very best chance at healing. Get out of the medical model and into the naturopathic model for a better way to approach healing the impact of toxic stress on you and your child's body. Repairing complex developmental trauma is a long-term process with many layers. Start from the bottom up, not the top down. Sensory brain first. Emotional behavioral regulation second. And development of the strong sense of self and identity last. The right approach in the right sequence is a life-changing gift to your child from difficult beginnings. Get support for the journey. You need and deserve it. This is C. Eshelman, Attachment and Trauma Specialist from the Attach Place Center for Strengthening Relationships. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. And remember, your love matters.